We're with the CEO of the International Air Transport Association. He's Giovanni Bisignani. Thank you so much for coming in. I was looking at the figures that were released for the month of October. Impressive figures, pre-crisis levels. Do you think we're over the worst? If we take it as a benchmark of the world economy, can you only grow from now?
Absolutely. This has been a very good year for the aviation. We would never imagine to rebound so quickly. We had an increase in revenues this year of nearly $70 billion. Many factors were positive. Demand went up 11%. Airlines were good in handling capacity, plus 7%. That means that the yield went up 7.5%, and the results are good. We also had the fuel. $79 per barrel as an average means that the airlines, the total bill for the airline is $135 billion. So I think so it's a good year. Logically, we will start to see, and we will see some profits, $8.9 billion this year.
Mr. Bisignani, I'm just trying to understand, because we are seeing some very good growth figures from IATA. But if we look at the world economy, it's not growing by that much. So where do you see the strength? And is it now not in parallel anymore with the world economy? Is it that passengers travel more because people take more holiday, but don't necessarily think that, you know, the recession's over?
You know, what has happened, that we have some large areas of the world that are starting to be very effective in growing in aviation. China, India, Brazil. These countries were not big players 4-5 years ago. Just to give you a number, in cargo, Asia represents 40% of the total cargo, and it went up until now by 28%. So those emerging markets that are not anymore emerging, but are big realities, are balancing a certain slowdown in other parts of the world. But also Europe, the latest numbers from Europe in North America, October I'm referring, it's up, passengers up 12% in North America and 9% in Europe. So also those areas in the traffic is going right. The biggest problem that we have is Europe. Europe is the only region in the world that will have a red figure, 1.3 billion losses this year.
So really it's almost replicating what we're seeing in terms of the world and global economy. Mr. Bisignani, I also wanted to ask you, your safety concerns about the A380, because this came as much as a shock. We're now hearing some air companies actually deciding not to buy A380s. How quickly does this need to be dealt with?
But I think so that Rolls-Royce and Airbus are handling effectively. I think that they will find a quick solution. In any case, let's remember that safety is a great result of this industry. When IATA started 60 years ago, we had 9 million passengers and 600 fatalities. Last year, we handled 2.2 billion passengers in the same numbers of fatalities. And every fatality is a tragedy, but 600 fatalities out of 2.2 billion passengers makes aviation the safest mode of transportation.
Mr. Bisignani, I also wanted to ask you actually about what we heard from the Indian Aviation Ministry saying that some of the fares being charged are exorbitant, and he wants to take positive steps to stop that. What's your take on it?
But you know, competition is there. There's many airlines running, and I have to leave it to the competition. On the other side, we have also some exorbitant fares charged by airports. It's true that now we have a new regulatory body, IATA, just appointed, and I think so that he will have a good eye on the charges of the airports in India.
Mr. Bisignani, we only have 10 seconds left. I just want to ask you your biggest fear. Double-dip recession still? Oil?
And I would say double-dip recession, but security. Security is also something in the top of the agenda. In the recent event of Yemen was a wake-up call for all of us.
Yeah. Mr. Giovanni Bisignani, thank you so much for joining us today.